Hello, hello, my beautiful, beloved, sacred masculines, and anybody else who finds their way to this channel. Welcome to Ayahuasca Retreat Day 5.2. This has been a few days later, but I was wanting to report back on my third ayahuasca ceremony. If you've been following along, I've been documenting each day and what my experience was in hopes that it helps you get a better understanding of what this type of retreat is all about. And this specific one at Arkana Spiritual Center here in Sacred Valley, Peru. So this is actually the last few days of the retreat are quite busy and pretty freaking intense. So I didn't actually have time to get these videos created at the retreat center. So this is now Tuesday, and the retreat ended on Saturday. So that fifth day, I'm reporting on day 5 right now. Again, I have already created one video about day 5 that day because it was the DMT ceremony and the bufo with the toad and beyond words, like just way beyond, like the most beautiful experience I have ever had in my life, and the most eye-opening and very cleansing and clearing and purging, and really powerful around sacred sexuality. And I invite you to go check that video out if you're interested in learning more about that particular experience. Then that ended, and then there was a couple of hours in between time for it wasn't food because you stop eating at 3 before your ayahuasca ceremony, and this is to support not purging, right? Because it's a very purging plant. It purges so much of your energy and physical, mental, emotional bodies. So to not eat ahead of time is very helpful. So there was no dinner that day, and I guess it's kind of a blur. We must have had some integration or some processing in the ceremony. Again, it's been a couple of days, so there was just too much going on to record this then. But anyways, so the third ceremony was nothing like the first two, and they say this, each ceremony is very different and you never know what you're gonna get. You trust my Mother Ayahuasca and you trust the process, and you just release into it. And the first two for me, again, you can go back and listen to those videos, but they were very thoughtful and meaningful, even though it was very dark and cleansing and clearing, and there was a lot of crazy images and visuals. It's extremely psychedelic for me. Not everybody has that same experience, so some people don't see many visuals at all, but for me it's just like fucking nuts, like a crazy psychedelic. So the first two were like that, but it was really, it all made sense what I was seeing, right? In this third experience, it was total chaos. Nothing was making sense in a wisdom way, because it's like, okay, what's the wisdom in this experience, what I'm experiencing? And it was just very chaotic. The Icaros, which is what the maestra and the maestros, the shamans, are singing. It's the plants. I feel the plants singing to me through them, because they're very deeply in alignment with connected to these plants. They're just one with the plants. So the music, the song, the plant song comes through them. And this time, where normally that was just a really powerful and beautiful experience, and I felt very connected to the plant, this time it was just chaotic and gross and not pleasant, and my body didn't feel good. The visuals were strange and weird and just didn't make sense. And what came through, because I kept asking, like, okay, Mother Ayahuasca, what is the purpose of this? And it was just like, this is just cleansing. We're just purging your energy. We're purging all of the chaotic, crazy, weird energy from your experience. And it's just let go, just trust the process. So that's all I could do, and just like allow it. But I felt toxic and gross, and it was just a deep cleansing and clearing, and that went on for quite some time. These ceremonies, the effects of this, or you're in it for a number of hours. We start at 8 p.m. and everyone drinks, and this all happens in the dark too there, and there's a reason for that, because I think the visuals would be too much in the light if you're having that experience. So it's a real inner journey and inner experience. So everything is in the dark, everyone is in the dark. You're in a room, in a group of, my group had 10 people, but then there was sometimes facilitators that would join in with taking medicine, but there was also facilitators that didn't take the medicine, that support us through the whole process and were there for us for whatever we needed. And then of course there's the maestros and the maestra there doing all of their powerful work and healing with the songs, and also assisting people if they needed support in any way and help moving the energy. Because some people couldn't have some terrifying experiences, and that's real and that's true. So not to like be all rainbows and unicorns with it. One person was having rainbows and unicorns experiences, but somebody else, felt like they were dying the whole time, and needed support around that. So again, wildly, drastically different for each person, but it's always exactly what they need. And hearing people reflect after the fact, like, yes, I felt like I was dying the whole time, but it makes sense and I needed that, so they understand why, and it all makes sense for them. So sometimes people are holding on to, they have such a fear of death, or they have a fear of so much of life. And when they're confronted with their own death and with an ego death, they come out of it with a deeper appreciation for life and ability to let go and just and move beyond that fear. So even though it might be terrifying in the moment, it makes sense for them, and they're finding a lot of freedom and liberation in that. So you just have to trust whatever shows up for you. And yeah, so that's why this isn't for everybody. It's not going to speak to everybody. That might just totally, hearing about that might totally freak you out and go, that's absolutely not anything I ever want to experience. So, again, I'm just sharing about this so it might help you to understand more about the process. If you're curious and want to dive in and want to learn more, maybe you're on the fence, I don't know. I can't say if this is the right thing for you or not. It turned out to be the most amazing, powerful, epic, transformational week of my life, and I would do it again in a heartbeat and intend to do it again. So really amazing, amazing, amazing. But this chaotic, going back to that night, very chaotic energy for me, and but it started opening up at a point again. Okay, so it starts at 8, and by the time I get back into my room, when they tend to need to help me back into my room, because it's really discombobulating, this medicine, so it can be hard to walk, right? So you can need assistance with that. So by the time I get back up into my room after these ceremonies, it's usually about 1 in the morning. So from 8 to 1 is the length of time, and then I still am feeling the effects for some hours once I get back to my room. Some people will fall right to sleep, some people will be up for a while still, like kind of going through their process, so again, different for everybody, right? So but so definitely a few hours in, after I'd had some real chaotic experience, very unpleasant, but again, just letting go and trusting the process and feeling deep cleansing and purging, it started really opening up into, one of my intentions was help me embody Christ consciousness. And what it was showing me and what started opening up for me was the divinity in humanity, that we are all these divine, amazing beings of love and light, and of that Christ consciousness, or whatever you want to call it, but that we're very powerful beings. We have been disconnected from our own power and our own truth for thousands of years, really, and just really, really, yeah, disconnected from our power. So this was showing me just how powerful and amazing as beings we are, and that we're coming into it more, and that we're awakening more, and that our heart is starting to lead the way, and we're moving down out of our mind, and we're opening up more into our light bodies, and we're opening up more into a healed DNA, a more activated DNA, and upgraded DNA. It really showed me just so much of our potential, our human potential, and where we're going as a species in our evolution. So to me, this was really helping me with that one intention, help me embody Christ consciousness. It was showing me the power and the truth of who I am, and part of why we need to clear all of this energy, right? Part of why we need to go through this cleansing process to help me to step into it. The DMT experience earlier in the day was absolute heaven and bliss and beauty, and along with some dark cleansing and purging as well, but it was gratitude and it was love and just, again, beyond words. But I felt like this ayahuasca ceremony in the evening was kind of the opposite of that. Like, okay, so we had all that, and now we have to clear so much for you to step into that truth, to step into your light, to step into the truth of love and who you are, and into your divinity, right? So into my own goddess energy, my own sacred feminine, so that I can connect so much more beautifully with the sacred masculine. It was really showing me that. So, and showing the rising of humanity, the rising of the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine energies that we're really experiencing and stepping into now, so many of us in this path. So that's what that third ceremony was for me. And even though it was chaotic and hectic, I felt so much gratitude for really seeing so much of our truth and who we are and the potential and where we are going and what we're stepping into. And it gave me a lot of the courage and confidence I needed to step into the truth of who I am, which was another one of my intentions. Teach me to live with courage and confidence. So you go in with intentions to this ceremony, and I had a number of them. I had 5 different intentions, and by the end of this week, they had all been answered for me, and I was shown. I was shown everything that I asked for in ways that I was not expecting, right? You just set the intention, you let it go, you let her do, you let Mother Ayahuasca take the reins, and you just release, and you trust. So that's what this was all about for me. Trusting, and trusting myself. I got to a point, and I don't remember what ceremony it was, but I was trusting these external sources, trusting the medicine, trusting the shamans, trusting the group, trusting the process, trusting. And then I was just like, and that was my anchor. I kept repeating it, because it's some intense, powerful stuff, and you need to breathe, you need to connect with your intention, and you need to have some anchors to keep you centered and grounded and in alignment with your intention and not lost. So for me, that was just like, I trust you, Mother. I trust this process. I trust this process. I trust this process. I trust you, Lady Isis. I was deeply connected to the feminine energies that I create or I connect with, Kali, Ananda Mayama, Lady Isis, Lilith, some beautiful feminine energies, Hecate. So I just kept doing that. I trust. And then it got to like, I trust myself, and I started really tapping into how much I need to just trust myself to know what's right, trust myself to make the right choices, trust myself for having chose this experience, and trusting that I know what I need, right? And I know the next steps forward, and I know how to take care of myself, and I know how to love myself and others, and I know what I need. So that was a really beautiful experience, and I hold on to that. So, there's a lot of journaling. So many things come through. So much wisdom comes through. So, journaling through this week and writing down all of the things that arrived, so I can return to that and hold to that. Yeah. So, I think, gosh, let's see, 13 minutes right now. I feel like that was the ceremony. I think I'm going to stop this video and then move on to the next video, because the following day was the San Pedro ceremony, and that was nuts. It was just freaking nuts. So I'm going to save that for another video, so you can check in with that. And then, again, since it has been a few days since the retreat, because I was wondering, like, how is this all going to transpire? What's this going to look like after the fact? And I'm already starting to see some of the benefits and the shifts, especially around my sexuality and the pleasure that I am feeling in my body and what has been cleared out. It's called dieta. It's the diet and the cleansing that you go through before you even get to the retreat center, the spiritual center. You cleanse certain things out of your diet, and you cleanse out medications, you cleanse out supplements, you cleanse out coffee. You are preparing yourself for this process, because it's such a powerful, intense process, and the more toxins the more pure that your body and your energy body can be coming into this, the more that's going to get cleaned out, the deeper you can go, I trust. And no sexual activity, and no sexual activity in the center, and this includes self-pleasuring. So I have not been doing that. And then they say, some of these things that you reincorporate after the fact, they have some guidelines, um, from some things you can incorporate within a few days, some things, right away, some things a week, some things a month, some things they recommend not ever incorporating back into your life, right? Like cigarettes, smoking, that's not healthy for us in any capacity. So it's never really a good thing for us to do for our bodies. So, they recommend going an eternity without that one. So I can appreciate that. But other things like sexual activity, they still said give it a week, but I did not. I didn't. And I was trusting my body, and because so much of it for me, my journey on this retreat was around sexuality and around sexual energy and healing, and clearing that from my body. I was really excited to see how that transpired in my body, how that manifested, what were the shifts, what are the shifts and the changes that are actually, now my lived reality. So sexual activity now has just been, there's such a freedom in my body, and I'm connecting to so much more pleasure, and it's just like, wow, because that's what I was feeling in the ceremonies, like, and especially in that DMT, I was just like, I reclaim my body, I reclaim my pleasure, I reclaim my sacred feminine from all of the trauma and the inherited trauma from generations, from my own personal lived experience, inherited from ancestors, inherited from our society, clearing all of that shit out of my body, all the unhealthy belief systems, all the guilt, all the shame, all the, ways I've kept myself small, all the ways I've kept myself from really opening into my pleasure, any sort of numbness that I've experienced, any tension in my pelvic region, just really very intentionally clearing that and feeling it move out at a visceral level during these ceremonies. Just like, wow, just vibrating and feeling so alive, and knowing that serious, serious shit was being cleared out. So it's been exciting to connect with myself again and connect with my sexual energy and my body, and just like, wow, there's been some serious clearing and freedom and ease in my experience, and just so much more pleasure is available to me now, and that's just like, wow. So that's one way that I've noticed. I'm really, because it's one thing, and I've said this in the other videos, it's one thing to have these powerful experiences in the retreat, right? But how does that carry forward? What are the long-term benefits? Because so many people, they're so many critics, they critiquing plant medicine, like, sure, you have an experience there, but there's no long-lasting effects, which that is not my experience, because with psilocybin and psilocybin, I guess, there's very lasting effects. Shit gets cleared out and it's gone for good, and it does not come back, and that's not for everything, right? But certain things, the potential is there, and I've had the experience, and it's deeply shifted me in ways that were life-changing. So I know the capabilities of plant medicine. I know what's possible. So I'm curious to see what are the long-term effects of this kind of a powerful retreat. So I'm already noticing them now, and I'm just continuing to see how it continues to unfold, right? So I will keep you informed of that, because that's where the proof is in the pudding, right? And that's where the real magic is. It's in the long-term benefits, not that the intense experiences. I mean, those are amazing, right? But what's the long-term benefit of this experience? So stay tuned for more, and I'm going to continue to watch and integrate and see other things I have chosen not to integrate right away, some supplements and dietary things. So I'm still continuing to keep my energy in a more pure state. I did try coffee yesterday, which I should not have. Probably it was a little too much. I was just like, whoa, and I got in my normal amount of coffee. I don't even think I had the normal amount, but I just felt really jittery because I hadn't had it for a while, and so now I'm just like, okay, I don't really need that, So taking advantage of that to just let that go, maybe. So, yeah. So happy to report on that. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna turn this off and then do the video on the San Pedro experience, which is quite an experience. I can't wait to share about that. So thank you again for going on this ride with me, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions about this experience. Again, this is at the Arkana Spiritual Center in Sacred Valley, Peru. Highly, highly, highly recommended. And thank you for being here. And I think that's it. All right. Sending love to you. Bye all.